Tonight, the latest on council's plans for a potential psych hospital in Prince George. Plus, local stakeholders are pushing the provincial government for a construction ministry. And we highlight a couple of seniors that are in great shape on this week's To Your Health. Good evening, folks. I'm Eddie Huband, and welcome to CKPG News. We begin tonight with a disturbing crime story that left one man injured. Prince George RCMP reported a break-and-enter on Upper Mud River Road earlier this month. Police say on October 12th, a rural property on Upper Mud River Road was the victim of a break-in, and a person associated with the property was injured as a result of an interaction with the suspect or suspects. Prince George RCMP are actively investigating and are asking the public for any info. If you have dash cam footage around the area between 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. on October 12th, or if you know anything about the incident, please contact police. Mounties have made an arrest in relation to a homicide that occurred in Prince George last year. Mounties say 55-year-old Clarence Lee Angstrom was arrested on Friday. Police allege he was responsible for the death of Lydia McFarlane on July 17, 2023, at her home on the 1500 block of Victoria Street. Police say the Serious Crimes Unit was called in, and Angstrom was identified as a suspect. They say he's been charged with second-degree murder and is currently being held in police custody. City Council is continuing to lay the groundwork in pursuing a potential psychiatric care facility for Prince George, as Council voted in favor of advocating for a secure standalone psychiatric care facility. Tommy Osborne has the latest.
To address a growing need for mental health care supports and addiction treatments, City Council voted in favor of advocating for a secure standalone psychiatric care facility.
We have only hospital beds. There's a massive difference between a hospital bed and a psychiatric care facility.
4 of the 5 motions surrounding the facility were focused on advocating for it, which was passed unanimously by Council. The other motion? That was about involuntary care, and Klassen was the only councillor to vote against it.
We haven't had sufficient voluntary care even in our province, so I would much prefer that we advocate for voluntary care before we expand involuntary care.
Several community advocates feel similar, believing involuntary care causes more harm than good.
My son had substance use disorder. He had drug-induced schizophrenia. I forced him into treatment many times. All it did was introduce him to more people who use substances. And subsequently, he was forced from our courts to the Lower Mainland and died by himself without family and friends.
Councillor Kyle Sampson is one who's in favor of involuntary treatment, as he says the story of a mother who lost her son due to mental health challenges really resonated with him.
She believes that if it wasn't for his challenges, he would have accessed some care, but they were so severe that he wasn't making that decision for himself. And she believes that if involuntary care was in place, he would have been maybe provided that care and would still be here today.
While Sampson and the rest of City Council supported involuntary care, that doesn't mean they're against voluntary care, though.
We need to bolster up those resources that we already have, providing voluntary care, and we need much more. But at the same time, there are folks who are dying because they're not capable of making those decisions to get the treatment and the care that they need.
While Klassen voted against the involuntary care aspect of this psychiatric care facility, ultimately all 5 motions were passed surrounding this facility, meaning that City Council has voted in favor of agreeing to advocate for potentially a new psychiatric care facility in Prince George. And given that this vote was all about agreeing to advocate for it, it's likely that this is the first of many steps that will be taken in the coming months as the city of Prince George continues to explore what this facility could look like in our city. Tommy Osborne, CKPG News.
The BC construction industry has been going strong recently, never skipping a beat even through COVID. But the regulations around the industry when it comes to the government are disjointed. For that reason, the BC Construction Association is putting forward a unique concept. Cheryl Jan has more.
There are currently 22 ministries in the provincial government, and the BC Construction Association wants to add to that list. It wants a Ministry of Construction and cites an example of why that would make sense.
Infrastructure is going to be focusing on these capital projects and putting these projects into motion and that capital spending, but workforce and labor kind of falls under a different industry. And when we find a shortage of workforce and labor and we have spending happening on the other side, we need to be able to put that together to make sure that these projects can become a reality.
It says the construction industry brings more to the provincial coffers by way of the GDP than many other industries. For example, the industry to date accounts for 10.3% of the GDP, or $27 billion. Tourism accounts for 24% of the GDP, or $7.2 billion. It also argues construction is one of the largest employers in the province, putting 230,000 people to work, each of whom is earning more than $74,000 in taxable wages.
There's a lot of different components of construction. So it actually wouldn't be a bad idea to have a ministry that is focused on making sure that you can get through those things. One of the things, of course, that we ran on and we want to be able to do is to be able to implement a single permit, a single project.
Nicole Bryant says should a ministry be created, the minister, whoever that might be, would act as something of a provincial project manager.
On a construction site, the project manager gets to sort of direct traffic. There's a lot of other moving parts that fall within that system underneath that project manager. This would be no different. You direct a lot of those, what we call RFIs, or requests for information.
With a new government taking power in the coming weeks, the association feels now is the time to strike while the iron is hot.
Right now, there's a lot of uncertainty. We're just sort of waiting to see what's going to happen and the formation of government. And then, of course, when the new government forms, there's a lot of priorities that are put in place and forming the new cabinet and all those steps that need to happen. And we want to make sure that we put our voice in there.
The association has set out a mandate for such a ministry if formed. Its role would be affordable housing and infrastructure development, labor and workforce development, regulatory framework, climate action, stakeholder engagement, and accountability. Cheryl Jan, CKPG News.
Vaccination season is upon us. Chief Medical Health Officer Dr. Bonnie Henry was encouraging British Columbians today to get their shots. The vaccines for both the annual flu and COVID-19 are out and have been since earlier this month. Last week, British Columbians broke records for the number of people getting the vaccine. In the opening week of vaccine season, pharmacies administered nearly 340,000 vaccines for both the flu and COVID. The province has ordered 2.2 million doses of the COVID vaccine and another 2.3 million for the flu.
There's a really sporadic activity of influenza and RSV so far this year. So that's going back to what we would consider a more normal pattern from before the pandemic. And I expect that we're going to start seeing influenza and RSV start to increase probably late November, early into December, seeing the patterns that we're seeing now.
And now to your health. Brought to you by Hard Drugs, 3rd Avenue Pharmacy, and the Phoenix Pharmacy.
When you think of bodybuilders, you might think of a young athlete taken to the stage. But for some, that drive to compete in physique comes later in life.
All the things that I do, I put everything into it that I got. That's what I do, no matter what it is, and including with, going to the gym. And I take it very, very serious. And then it became... And the next step really is saying, okay, maybe compete.
And so John Brink competed, coming in 3rd in bodybuilding and 2nd in physique provincially, where he qualified for the Nationals and the Arnolds. Brink says having a goal encourages him to make healthier decisions.
Going to compete works for me. I like it. It gives me a goal.
Much in the same way as former bodybuilder turned powerlifter Judy Mitchell.
It's given me a determination and provided consistency in my life.
Judy Mitchell also competed in bodybuilding later in life, but switched to powerlifting because of her love for lifting heavy weights and her desire for a less restrictive regimen.
There are some ideas for diet. Most of it is get the food in your mouth. So I love food. I love powerlifting because I don't have to really restrict what I eat.
However, there is still risks of injury when lifting weights, especially for those later in life. Canada's Strongest Woman and Mitchell's trainer recommends focusing on form.
The weight that you're lifting in the beginning really doesn't matter a whole lot. It's just about kind of learning the proper movement patterns, and just really getting the form dialed in.
While these people have won competitions, they ultimately do it for their personal health. And you can as well.
Start with walking, get into the routine of making your body active.
Start lifting things. It gives your health, your bones, your body so much help as we age, because our bodies are essentially going to start breaking down.
To Your Health. Brought to you by Hard Drugs, 3rd Avenue Pharmacy, and the Phoenix Pharmacy.
The lowest gas price in Prince George is sitting at $1.49.9 per liter at Costco. That also happens to be the lowest price in the province right now. Manitoba has the lowest fuel prices on average in the country at $1.30.5 per liter, while BC has an average price of $1.67.2 per liter.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Dominos. Join the Dominos Lunch Club with 25% off all regular price pizzas every day. Visit dominos.ca to join the club.
Some good news for the Prince George Cougars. Goaltender Joshua Ravensbergen has been named to the roster for the 2024 CHL USA Prospects Challenge. As you can see here, his stats speak for themselves. He burst onto the scene with a fantastic campaign in his rookie season last year. This year's numbers have dipped slightly, but it's still very early in the year. The CHL squad will face off against USA Hockey's U18 team in a 2-game series on November 26th and 27th in London, Ontario. X Conditioning Gym will be hosting their Northern Powerlifting Classic on Saturday, November 2nd. The competition is open to all ages and all skill levels, including first-timers. It will include squats, deadlifts, and bench press. Weigh-ins will happen on the Friday, with competition starting on the Saturday, the 2nd at 9 a.m. This is a national qualifying event, and you can register online at xconditioning.com.
The benefits for the lifters is the camaraderie and just getting out there and putting yourself out doing the competition and getting confidence. There's great benefits for the people that are interested in it. They come and watch, see how it is, see how all the lifters work together and how fun it is. And then a lot of people that attend as an audience member end up being a lifter.
The TSX is down 7 points to close at 24,717. The Dow Jones is down 8 points to close at 42,925. And Canfor went up 20 cents to close at $16.88.
Good evening again, everyone. We are in for a change tonight and tomorrow, and then back to some more of that sunshine again Thursday. So here's our satellite map taking you back from today. Some cloud cover here and there, but a nice clearing through most of the day in many areas. But we are going to start to see this system up here starting to push down from the north. So it is still very cold out there, by the way. We're going to have temperatures going down to about -11 with the wind chill tonight in Prince George, and colder in some other areas, which we'll show you on the extended forecast in a moment. But here's that system sliding down from the north, as you can see there, and that's going to impact us. So we have a very slight chance of flurries tonight, especially northern sections, of course. And then into tomorrow morning, we do have a pretty good chance that we'll see flurries, or waking up to some flurries right across most of the region and here in Prince George as well. And then into the afternoon, as we see those freezing levels start to rise, that temperature coming up, most of that moisture should switch over to a very slight chance of showers through the afternoon. So it will be a pretty cold and sort of unsettled start to the day tomorrow. Afternoon still, yes, cloudy and a chance of showers. Right here, we'll get to about 5 degrees. A 7 up in the Peace. It was a gusty one there today, but tomorrow should be calm, a little more calm for sure. And then after tomorrow, Thursday, Friday look good, but we're watching another big system coming in for the weekend that will bring our temperatures down. And yes, we are expecting some more of that precipitation. 10 degrees, Kamloops, Kelowna, close to that as well. This is where we're seeing the break from that big atmospheric river. Of course, there was still some lingering showers this morning and through Metro Vancouver, but going into the afternoon, a lot better of a story. And so tomorrow looks pretty good, at least for the south coast. North coast, we'll start to see another system coming in. in. 5 degrees, Burns Lake, clouds and flurries expected for some of the day tomorrow, especially early half. 6 in Vanderhoof, Fort St. James, mainly clouds there. We will have the showers by the afternoon, but likely starting things out with some flurries in the mix, and McBride +4 with a few showers for most of the day as well. 7 degrees in Edmonton, cloudy skies. As we take you across the country, we're seeing an improvement in temperatures through the prairies. It was a cold one the last couple of days. We'll get brighter skies tomorrow. Temperatures back up to the double digits. Further east, some instability, but nothing really happening too much with the temperatures. Still feeling very nice and mild further east as we move into parts of the eastern half, and of course the Maritimes, some nice sunshine as well. Sun cloud mix late week. Thursday, Friday are the better days ahead as we see a little bit more of a brighter sky, a brighter trend coming back into the weekend for Burns Lake. Not too bad, but some areas will have some instability. -4 tonight, though cold. You've got snow, a little bit of it through the morning hours especially, and into the afternoon as well. We could even have a little bit of an accumulation of 1 to 2 centimeters. -2 Mackenzie, partly cloudy skies, some afternoon showers tomorrow, but then you're pretty nice after that. Thursday, Friday look good, and then this is that system that we're watching that could be bringing some mixed precipitation for both Saturday and Sunday. -8 in McBride, a cold one tonight, up to 4 tomorrow. Still going to have some showers in the mix throughout the day tomorrow, a cloudy one as well. Brighter skies in the afternoon on Thursday, but overall a pretty overcast looking day as we move forward into the later part of the week. Quesnel will have some sunshine returning Thursday, Friday, parts of Saturday as well, but tomorrow, yes, we're looking at clouds and a pretty chilly day ahead. -2 tonight for us. It'll feel a lot colder than that, down to about -11. Increasing clouds, chance of flurries through the morning hours, switching over to showers in the afternoon. And then we have some nice sunnier sky for Thursday, Friday.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Dominos. Join the Dominos Lunch Club with 25% off all regular price pizzas every day. Visit dominos.ca to join the club.
The Prince George Spruce Kings have made a roster move, acquiring defenseman Isaac Holt from the Vernon Vipers in exchange for future considerations. The 6'5" D-man is in his first season in the BCHL. Prior to this, he played 96 games with the Johnston Tomahawks of the NAHL. He had 4 goals and 14 assists in those 96 games. According to GM Mike Hawes, Holt is a veteran defenseman with good size and instincts. He's also a great kid that will be a tremendous addition to the back end. The Kings have a few days off before getting back at it with a road game coming up on Friday against the Powell River Kings. Last night saw a Monday night football doubleheader, and tonight's CKP3 showcases the most electric plays of the night.
Kyler Murray turned on the Jets.
Cardinals in LA territory. Murray on the move. Look out, in space. Kyler Murray, it's a sprint down the sidelines, and they won't catch him.
It was tough sledding for Murray and the Cardinals offense, but to kick off the fourth quarter, Murray showed off why he's always a big play threat. Once he gets going, there's no stopping him, and that touchdown ended up being the difference maker in a 17-15 Cardinals win. And speaking of speed, King Henry.
And has been lighting up the scoreboard. Here's Henry, left side. Yep, it can change in a blink. There he goes. McCollum, the only man that can catch him, and he does.
Like Murray, Henry was also having a tough day, but as he's done his entire career, he ripped off a huge run to completely flip the field. That run got him going, as he would score a receiving touchdown later on and would end the day with 182 total yards. And like Henry, his quarterback, Lamar Jackson, also enjoyed a huge day.
Here's a home run shot for Bateman. Touchdown Ravens.
The two-time MVP looks to be on track for a third as his electric season continues. He had 5 touchdowns and 333 total yards as he showed off why he's the premier dual-threat quarterback in the league in tonight's CKP3.
That's all the time we have tonight, folks. Thanks for joining us as always. Caden Fanshaw is up next with the Today Show, but keep a weather eye out on the horizon for the 6:30. I'll be back. See you in a few.